All right, it is now April of 2025. The market is moving, the market is doing some activity here in the area, and it's time for us to kind of take a peek to see how the numbers are looking like here. Like I said, it is April. The newest numbers in the market here in the Aurora area have come in here, and I have some news to report to you. Quarter one is complete. We're finished with January, February, and March. And so what I want to do here in this video is just kind of touch base on what's been happening. What's the inventory looking like? What is the demand of homes? What are the prices? Are they going up? Are they going down? Do we anticipate a crash? And where are we in comparison to other years past? Okay, so we're going to do that here in this quick little video to update you about what's happening in the real estate market here in Aurora. If you like this kind of content, for sure, reach out to me. Let me know by a comment or subscribe, and then we will get you, just information going on here. Okay, so for you, so you could be trained up and ready to talk to your clients in the future. Okay, so with that said, I have here loaded onto the left side of your screen the information for the Aurora area. Now, it's not just the city of Aurora, Illinois, it's also Montgomery, it's also Oswego, it's also Batavia, like this general area here, okay, so that you can understand what is going on at this point. Okay, so we're going to talk about three big things, and then we're going to use the data as well to give a little bit of context as far as time goes. Okay, so again, what is number one, the prices of homes, number two, the inventory supply, and number three, the buyer demand. Is it going up? Is it going down? Let's take a look at those things. Okay, so number one, let's talk about prices. Prices. And right now, with the news of the world, with the tariffs going on and the prices of things going up, are interest rates going to go up? Are they going to go down? Everyone's probably in a bit of a panic. And how is that going to impact the buying of homes here in our particular area? Obviously, real estate is local. And so, national news is, yes, it's significant, it's important to understand, but at the same time, does that really affect your neighborhood? Does that really affect your city, right? Even in the city itself, there are properties and neighborhoods that sell more than others, and others just seem to be unaffected by the shockwaves of news that are going on in the areas, right? So let's just take a look and see what is going on in regards to pricing, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look. As far as prices go, we're gonna take a look, not so much at the average right now, but at the median. And on top of that too, I'm going to filter this into monthly data points. This is more raw data as opposed to a smooth, blended approach. So let's take a look here, okay? And then as far as this span goes, it's a 3-year span, okay? So that's the 3 years of data here according to the area here, okay? Now, with that said, in the area here in Aurora in general, as far as taking into account Oswego, Montgomery, the prices of homes, the average, and that's taking into account the highest and the lowest, are at $475,862. Again, $475,862 is the average prices of homes. Have those prices in average gone up or down compared to 12 months ago? And the answer is prices have gone up. 11.4%. Prices have gone up. Okay, so when you talk to somebody on the phone and they say, hey, how are the prices? Is it getting more expensive to own a home, or is it getting cheaper to own a home? Well, again, it depends on the area, and it depends on the actual inventory and the actual available homes. I mean, you could say the prices are going up, but at the same time, I can also tell you and I can remind you of homes that are even right now, as of this morning, as of this recording, available for sale at a price that you would consider to be very low. So just because the whole world is saying that all the prices are going up on properties doesn't mean that that particular neighborhood or that particular time that there isn't a house for sale that is still at a good price point. Okay, so don't be scared off. If you really are concerned, if you really want to buy a home but you're concerned about prices being too high, reach out to your local real estate agent to give you the most accurate information possible at the moment, because things do tend to change on an hourly, even minute by minute basis here in the real estate world, especially in my neighborhood. Every single day I see new homes coming on the market, and I go out there and take a look at them. So if you want to get that, obviously reach out to me, and even follow me on my social medias at Luis the Broker, and you'll see more of the current activity going on and my adventures here in the neighborhood. Anyway, going back to what we're talking about, prices have gone up 11.4% compared to 12 months ago, and you can see here the graph. It has been up and down, up and down. So currently what we're sitting at here in March of 2025, it is 475. It is not the highest it's ever been in the world. Even last year though, let's take a look, just because we want to see it. There it is. This is why it's 11.4%, because last year we were at 427 and now we're at 475. In general, let's take it into account. Condos, attached homes, single family, detached homes, in 60504, 60502, 60503, 6050506, right? So there's different parts, different price points in the area, okay? Understand, every city doesn't have the same price point. Depends on location, okay? Some areas sell higher than others, as we all know. So right now, we're just taking into account those price points, okay? And as a matter of fact, if I could, let's just take a look. Let's see if a particular area code does come up. And it does, right? Here we go. This is just an example, right? Just because on the fly I'm putting up some information here. But 60506 is a specific area code here in Aurora that covers the west side of the Fox River all the way out to, I think it's around, Orchard Road or so. And then out to the west, there's Sugar Grove. But you know, that particular area, according to this, the price point average has been 310. So the entire area compared to, you know, 60506, it's you know, what is it? $160,000 less, approximately, right? But again, you can still see the differences here. As far as price points go for the 60506 area, it is $310,879, okay? But that's just one area. Today, in this video, we're only covering the entire general Aurora area, okay? And again, it's 11.4 above last year. Now that's the average price. We're taking into account the big numbers and the small numbers. But what about the middle? What about those more conservative numbers? Where are they looking like? Well, let's take a look, right? Let's take a look and see the median number. It's 420 approximately, 420. So numbers have gone up 10.5% in the last 12 months, okay? So have prices gone up? The answer is, compared to last year, yes, they have. And compared to last year, you know, you can see here, it was at a low point, and now this year we have more activity, okay? So we do have a different administration in Washington, and maybe that's driving folks to get out there and purchase more homes, but that's just the way the prices are. Now let's ask the next question, right? Part 2, right? Here it is. What is the inventory looking like? Because we do need inventory. Inventory drives the market. You can't buy something if it's not for sale, right? So how many homes are for sale right here in the Aurora area? Has inventory gone up or has it gone down? Well, according to the numbers and statistics here, as it's crunching, it's gonna let us know what the inventory looks like. And just right off the bat, we've seen in the last 3 years, a nice little peak here, and this was in 2022 in July, and now we're going down here to March, and it doesn't look so great. But if you wanna compare it to just 12 months ago, inventory in Aurora, general homes for sale, was at 450 homes for sale that time. This year, all right, we have a total of 542 homes as of last month, as of March 31st, 2025. Again, we're now in April, so those numbers are in the past. We're still working on the next numbers, right? But right now we were at 542. That's great. As of detached family homes here in the Aurora area, what I've seen consistently all week long is that we're hovering around 414 homes for sale. That's detached. Obviously, attached homes such as condominiums and townhomes, those will actually add to the numbers. But for now, we're hovering around that number, okay? So more homes. The question is, are there more homes for sale or less homes for sale? The answer is, compared to 12 months ago, we are 20% more homes than last year. Remember, last year we were at only 450 homes for sale, and now we are at 542. And then remember, that's including, in this particular graph, that is including attached single family, detached single family, townhomes, and condos, okay? That's what we have here. So inventory is on the way up compared to a year ago, but this is the little stinker, you could say, right? The little thing, and that is that we did, after last March and after last April at 460 homes, we did see a spike of inventory in the Aurora area, and it peaked in September of 2024, where we had 771 homes for sale. Now, in the context of the last 5 years, is that a huge number or is that a small number? Well, let's take a look. Let's zoom out a little bit and see the last 5 years. And the answer to that question is, it's not that great. I mean, if you zoom into the 3 years, 1 year mark, you'll say, whoa, it's a huge number, 700 homes. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. But when you zoom out and take a look around and say, hey, wait a minute, 5 years ago, though, there were a lot more homes for sale. Absolutely. You take a look at the peak in March 2020, right when the pandemic hysteria started, right when all the folks were closing and masks started coming out and everyone was, stocking up, inventory in their homes from the grocery stores. Hey, in this area, we had 1,961 homes for sale. That was the peak, right? And if you kind of zoom out here, oops, let's go ahead and take that out. There it is. In the last, in fact, I don't think I need that one actually. Let me move that out of the way. In the last 10 years, oh, it doesn't want to go away. Sorry about that. My finger is not doing its job. 10 years ago, just to give you a little bit more context, a little bit zoomed out view, you'll see here that the numbers, and it's a lot of numbers to crush, you can see again, the inventory is still low historically, you know what I mean, in the last 10 years, and this is not even including the 2008 crisis, right? So we're just going back 10 years. In July of 2015, we did have 3,287 homes for sale then. Okay, so when you ask the question, how's inventory? Oh, is it going? It's going up slightly compared to 12 months ago. But when you compare it to 3 years ago, not so much. When you compare it to 5 years ago, even less, right? But when you compare it to 10 years ago, okay, inventory is way down right here, right? And that's not where we want to be, okay? And just to give you more context about inventory supply, take you down to month supply. Month supply is a factor, it's a measurement that we as realtors use to determine whether or not we are in a buyer's market or in a seller's market. Buyer's market, seller's market, right? That's also a very critical piece of information we need to consider when we are throwing offers out there. A buyer needs to know, hey, what kind of market are we in? Buyer's market, seller's market. You say, well, I'm in a XYZ market. Well, the point is, hey, you know what? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, right? You got to figure out, hey, am I in the buyer's market right now? If so, I can ask for XYZ. Oh, we're in a seller's market now. Oh, now I have to be, maybe more aggressive in my offer. But whatever the case is, you have to make sure that you are making the right moves at that time. So the question is this, well, where are we right now? We're buyer's market or seller's market? Well, according to the statistics here, okay, not my whim, not what I feel, the last 10 years, the last time we had, substantial inventory in the market, 5 or 6 months, where that is considered to be a balanced market, we have not seen that in a very long time. The last time, again, we could just take it back to June and July of 2015. We had almost 5 months supply then, but as the numbers started to go in, we started to see that little trickle, and now we've been hovering around 1 or 2 months supply, and that is not going to change at all. We're still looking at numbers here, 1 to 2 months. We're at the lower end of the 1 month supply. So yes, we're still in a seller's market in general. Now, this is the trick right here, right? Inventory fluctuates. Real estate is extremely local, specific. And even though you could be in a seller's market, this is just a little tip here. If you price the property incorrectly or too high, and it's sitting in the market a long time, you'll see very, very quickly that the inventory, now, the market, in a sense, for that particular home, that particular neighborhood has shifted now. It's not the buyers rushing to you to want to buy your home. The hysteria, the hype around that home has now officially died, right? And now, instead of the seller being the one chased, it's now the seller doing all of the chasing and all of the wooing, right? And is that, I asked the question too, is that now a seller's market or a buyer's market for that particular property? And I'll tell you, look, now it's a buyer's market in that particular one property in that area, right? Because now it's not the seller with the advantage, it's now the buyer with the advantage. And when that happens, that's a problem, right? And so now the seller has to almost capitulate or to bend the knee or to try to woo a buyer to come through. But that can obviously change, because now if you get a buyer multiple bid situation, suddenly now the cards and the tables have turned. So it's this number here about seller's market, buyer's market. It's just in general. Okay, speak to your realtor regarding the specifics of your particular property. But if your property's been sitting in the market for, if the average days of market has already passed in your particular neighborhood and your home has not sold, has not had any offers at all, there's something significantly, wrong here with either the marketing, the word of mouth, right, or maybe the property. Every property sells at the right price and at the right marketing. So anyway, that's just another side note here. And finally, talking about just the buyer demand. Okay, we talked about prices. Prices are up compared to 12 months ago. We talked about inventory supply. Inventory is still low, even though we have 500 homes on the market last month in the Aurora area. Okay, we still are low when compared to other times in the in the last 5-10 years. Okay, so we're still low numbers. That's the and when the folks in the world ask you, hey, how's the market, this is how the market is, right? Prices are up 20%, but historically they're still, at actually good numbers. How's inventory? Inventory is up 20%, but it's down compared to the last 5 to 10 years. We're still at lows. And so we just continue to move on and continue to just progress in that regard. And finally, we're going to talk about buyer demand. How is buyer demand? How's that looking like? Well, the answer to that question is this. How many folks are registering, and these are pre-approved buyers who are ready, willing, and able to purchase a home. And how are they doing as far as getting out to the properties? Are we looking at a lot of activity? Well, here we go. We zoomed in once again to the 3 years past. We do see a peak here in March. We do see a peak here in April. We do see a peak here in March. So we see and understand the pattern. In March and April, that's the time of the year when we see the most amount of folks going into the market here in the Aurora general area. Guess what? March, April, we are here right now, right? Right now is the time that we're supposed to see the peak. But something weird happened, isn't it? Because usually we see a spike up, and then we see another spike up, and then we see another spike up. Well, this one is like a weird spike. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on here? It's 2025, it's March. What's going on? So let's take a look. In January, we saw 10 homes. We saw 10 buyers showing a home here, right? In other words, there were 10 showings, 10.1 that were registered to go see, okay? That's it. And then in February, it went down to 10. Usually what we see is January has 10, which is normal, and then we continue to see the gradual picking up of interest, right? February 12, and then it goes up to March, and then in March, it goes down. Well, here in this case, we saw January 10, it was supposed to continue to go up. But what happened? What happened was that we did have an administration that entered into office in January and February. So maybe the uncertainty of the markets and the uncertainty of the economy and everything else and the world affairs possibly hindered folks to getting out there and seeing, because there was uncertainty about finances and the markets crashing and everything else. It's all happening right here. So that's possibly the answer as to why in February the number did not continue to elevate and instead stagnated and plateaued. 10 in January, 10 in February, right? What do we got here, right? Are we going to start to see the peak then in January and not see anything else later in the year? Well, the answer, finally, we have to all breathe a sigh of relief here in the area that the activity has picked up. Not substantially, not great, but in March we did see 10.4. So it still feels like a plateau. So if someone asks us, right, hey, has buyer demand picked up? And the answer is, it's slower than it was, not just last year, but it's slower than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, okay? I mean, I could go back here in time and look at the last 5 years. How is activity? The activity right now in March is less compared to 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's less. There's less buyers in the market right now. Now, that goes in contrary, doesn't it? Because even this past week, we've seen even on social media, folks talking about how interest rates have dropped and now there's more buyers in the market. Calm down with that hysteria. This is why you need to be speaking to a local real estate agent who understands the market, is not caught up with all the craziness out in the world, trying to get likes, trying to get clicks. I mean, all that stuff out the window, as I'm looking out a window as well. But you got to understand the demand of homes the buyers out in the market have dropped. That is a fact. Here it is reported. All right. That's fine though. However, we still have activity. And the good news is this: inventory is on the way up, buyers are on the way down. So, in a sense, that's good for supply and demand. My fear was that if there were more buyers getting into the market, that would, yes, drive prices up. But because of the fact that there are statistically less buyers in the market, that possibly could help cool down the hot prices elevating, okay? So as we start to see still, the inventory still continue to climb, we are seeing a little bit of a drop in comparison to previous years. Now, it's still March, it's still April, it's going to be May. That's no reference to NSYNC, but in May 2024, we did see drops. In May 2023, we did see a drop. So, historically, we have seen buyers drop in May, but we'll see. Because of this little hiccup that we have here, we just got to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months, okay? So that's exactly what's happening here in the real estate market. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like it. If you want more of this, subscribe. You know what to do already, so I don't need to tell you every time, but thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one as we go into more specific areas and we start to compare it with other places as well, okay? Thank you so much for watching. This is Luis the Broker coming to you with another video. Take care.